Welcome to Real Bear Reviews, your paradise for movie lovers. Thank you for supporting our channel. Your love keeps us alive and growing.
This man threw the bills into the teacup until the paper was soaked enough with water. He was satisfied to take it out. Then he opened the bill, and so from a brand new bill it had turned into an old bill. They threw all the bills into the tea water, then took them out and hung them on the clothesline and used a dryer to dry them one by one. Because these bills were all fake. Just made, compared to new money, old money is easier to fool people. To check the quality of this batch of counterfeit money, the two of them went to a Fenno's store and gave the counterfeit money to the store owner, who, to their surprise, stopped as soon as he received the money. At this moment, Fenno's panicked. "I haven't done anything yet." Sonny saw that the situation was not good and immediately rushed over and pulled Fenno's away from the store owner. Fortunately, the two brothers escaped from danger during the chaos. They thought it was easy to make fake money, but the bills they made were immediately discovered. Sandy looked at the counterfeit bill in his hand and began to think. It turned out that they had been wrong from the beginning. Indian paper money is made of a special kind of cotton paper, and this kind of paper feels completely different from ordinary wood pulp paper. When this kind of paper is torn, there is also a special sound. In addition, the color-changing ink on the bill is also very special. The color changes depending on the viewing angle. Finally, there is the anti-counterfeiting strip printed on the bill. To make high-quality counterfeit money, you have to solve these problems. Anyone who has seen the movie Project Gutenberg knows that to make high-quality counterfeit money, the drawings on the bills must be completely hand-drawn. Because the small letters on the bill, even with the most sophisticated scanner in the world, will still show streaks, so they have to rely on hand drawing to make a draft, then scale it down to carve and finally polish and chemically treat it. In this way, a template for printing money will be completed. But because cotton paper is tightly controlled by the Indian government, they have no chance to buy it, so they have to find a substitute paper with a similar feel. After a few days of searching, Sonny finally found hope from this ad. "Fennos, look at this. It's too thin. What about this?" They found that as long as they glued two sheets of paper together, it not only had a very similar feel, but also the thickness was also suitable. You just need to bleach each side of the paper separately, punch a hole to place the anti-counterfeiting strip, and finally stick them together with glue. This way, you have created a bill that looks like a perfect sandwich. After solving the paper problem, they needed to solve the second problem, which was the color-changing ink on the bill. At this time, Fennos came up with a way. He used metallic paint and water-based ink bought from the market and mixed them together to create a color-changing effect that was enough to counterfeit. Then, he coated a layer of varnish on the bill, making it more brittle. Finally, this step could not be missed. To check the quality of this batch of counterfeit money, they went to the store on the street again. This time, they were smarter. To prevent being caught, the two of them held hands to make it easier to escape. Sonny gave the money for a bottle of soda, and his heart tightened with fear. This time it failed again. Unexpectedly, in his hand was a bottle of soda and change. Looking at the bottle of soda and the money in his hand, the two of them were completely stunned. The man borrowed two 500 rupee bills from the gang leader. He placed 3 bills on the table, then shuffled their order, and finally, let the gang leader find the fake bill. But no matter how the gang leader flipped and searched, he could not find the fake bill mixed in. Even Sonny couldn't find the money he made, because the fake bills they made were too perfect. Fennos announced that anyone who wanted to buy their counterfeit money would have to pay at least 100,000 rupees, but the gang leader's words completely surprised them. "I want 2 million. 2 million. At first, they thought about bargaining, but they didn't expect to get such a big order the first time they sold counterfeit money. Sonny didn't hesitate to accept it. "Are you crazy? 2 million. We almost got killed when we made 100,000 before. How can we print so much money?" While the two of them were at a loss, the secret of their counterfeit money making was discovered. "Did you do this?" "I've thought a lot, Uncle. There's no other way to save Grandpa's newspaper." It turned out that Sonny didn't just do it for the money, but also wanted to save his grandpa's newspaper, which was on the verge of bankruptcy, so he came to this point. But no matter how Sonny explained, he couldn't hide the fact that they were committing a crime. Sonny's uncle tried to persuade him and advised him to stop before it was too late. Seeing that he couldn't persuade his uncle, Sonny had no choice but to take a bill from his pocket. The uncle took the bill from the table and carefully examined it. He couldn't believe that the bill in his hand was fake. "Is this fake? This is art." To clear his uncle's doubts, Sonny took his uncle to a restaurant and used the fake bill to pay. This action made the uncle sweat with fear of being caught immediately. Only when the waiter brought back the change did he breathe a sigh of relief. To print money in large quantities, a fast printer is needed, and to print 6 bills at once, a larger printing plate is needed. We need to varnish large rolls of paper, at least 50 kilograms of ink, a paper cutter, and a new motor for the money dryer. With the professional advice of the uncle, they quickly prepared everything they needed, but they were missing the most important raw material, which was the paper for printing counterfeit money. This kind of paper is tightly controlled by the Indian government and cannot be bought.
Can we trade underground?
"What's your name? Why do you need this kind of paper?"
Who are you?
"Damn it, it's easier to buy a plane than to buy this kind of paper." Since they couldn't buy it through official channels, they decided to take a shortcut and directly rob the paper mill. "If we only steal one kind, it will arouse suspicion. They will know our motive. We have to make it look like a normal robbery, understood?" But time was running out. They had to quickly return to the newspaper office to print in time, because they had to print 2 million before dawn and hand it over to the customer. Finally, before the delivery, they completed this order. To celebrate this success, Sunny invited his girlfriend of 2 years to dinner for the first time. With a monthly salary of 9,000 rupees, he couldn't afford to eat at such a fancy restaurant, but now it was different. He thought he would make it up to his girlfriend more in the future. Unexpectedly, her words completely surprised Sunny.
What?
That's right. I'm getting married soon. Married to who? To who? Does it matter? For a long time, his girlfriend had never publicly announced their relationship. They went out as friends, and even her parents didn't know about Sunny's existence. He knew she only loved rich people, and Sunny just didn't want to admit it. But now, her words were like ice shards falling and piercing Sunny's inferiority complex. But Sunny still thought he owed her too much. If this was her choice, it was meaningless to hold on. It was better to break up peacefully. This meal became their last dinner together. To keep a little bit of his last dignity, Sunny insisted on paying, but he didn't have enough money in his wallet for this meal, so he put his wallet back and took out the fake bill he made from another pocket. But he didn't expect that this action would push them into a quagmire of power and money. The girl received a fake bill at the restaurant, but instead of reporting it to the staff to get a new one, she went to the counter and bought all the fake money. Then she ran back to the office and put the bill into the inspection machine, but the machine didn't detect anything unusual. She tried again and there was still no result. At this time, both of them were completely confused. Anti-counterfeiting printing, anti-counterfeiting strip, color-changing ink. How is this possible? If this is confirmed to be counterfeit money, it means it can fool all the money inspection machines in India. The entire Indian money inspection system will become meaningless. To find the flaw of this fake bill, they put it under a microscope to examine, but still didn't find any traces. They even suspected that this was real money. It was only when they soaked the bill in alcohol that they finally decoded the secret of the counterfeit money. No wonder. I knew this was a sandwich-like fake bill.
Do you know what this means?
They are not a large organization. They don't have resources or infrastructure, just a flatbed printer and excellent skills. With only 3 people, they have defeated India's money inspection system. Because the quality of their counterfeit money was so good, it was favored by the underworld. Even Indian government members bought fake money from them. I want 200 million. No problem. Half a month before the parliamentary election, he needed a large sum of money to support. Sunny didn't hesitate to accept this order, but when they were printing fake money all night, a police car stopped in front of their printing workshop. It turned out that Miga had always been investigating the previous batch of counterfeit money. She had contacted the local police and asked them to check all the printing workshops near the restaurant. Now only this one was left. The 3 of them were panicked when they saw the police. Quick, turn off the machine. Wait, uncle. If we turn it off now, it will take a long time to restart it. We have to deliver the goods tomorrow.
Damn it.
Listen to me. Quiet down. How long will this batch take to print? 15 minutes. Now turn off all the lights, so they think we're closed. However, at that moment, the police directly called the uncle's phone, but he unconsciously answered it. Sure, they'll hear the machine.
Wait.
The signal here is not good. The police asked the uncle to come out immediately for inspection. If he didn't arrive at the scene in 5 minutes, the police will directly break in. Seeing this, the uncle had no choice but to agree and signaled the 2 brothers to pack up all the fake money. The uncle would go out the back door to stall with the police. However, while the uncle was dealing with the police, Miga slowly approached the main door. When the last batch of counterfeit money was printed, Fenos immediately turned off all the power, but Miga still heard some sounds. Is the machine still running? What are you doing, girl? I hear machine sounds. The police ordered the uncle to open the door immediately for inspection. When they opened the door, the 2 brothers had finally managed to hide all the fake money. They went in to inspect, but found nothing.
Did you check the trash can?
I thought you did. It turned out that they had forgotten to check the trash can, which contained the discarded counterfeit money from today. Miga was slowly approaching the trash can. Seeing this, Sunny had to sneak out and grabbed a crowbar to follow Miga. If Miga saw the fake money, Sunny would make a move. At that moment, Miga's phone suddenly rang. Sunny immediately hid behind a pillar, waiting for an opportunity. At the same time, the accompanying police also received a call. Their superior had received a call from a high-ranking official. At this time, he learned that these 2 people had arbitrarily checked the printing factory. After hearing this, he was very angry and ordered the 2 people to stop their actions immediately. After being scolded, Miga immediately called the police back. The 3 of them temporarily escaped danger, but at this time there was no time to talk. Sunny and Fenos transported all the fake money onto the car and drove to the neighboring state the next morning to deliver the goods. But because India implemented a federal system, each federal region had a checkpoint, and each police officer carried a weapon. The action of transporting goods between states was no different from crossing a border. It was not surprising that their car was stopped. The police checked their documents and then asked them to get out of the car and open the door for inspection. At the request of the police, Sunny opened the cargo box, but when the police were about to search, Sunny deliberately bumped into the nearby cargo box. This attracted the police's attention, but they only found some boxes of wine. What is this? A phone number. Calling when you're drunk. Officer, can we talk outside? Unexpectedly, the local police were too enthusiastic. They not only helped them temporarily hold the money and 6 bottles of wine in the bag, but also helped them get through the checkpoint. After successfully delivering the counterfeit money to the designated location, the 2 sides exchanged money. This order made them rich overnight. easily earning 60 million rupees. However, they didn't know that their actions had touched the interests of others. A criminal gang had their eyes on the two brothers. Who did this? It was you, wasn't it? I'll ask one last time. Who did this?
I did.
In India, for every 100 bills, there is one counterfeit bill. These counterfeit bills are made very sophisticatedly, and ordinary people can hardly distinguish them. Even money inspection machines cannot tell the difference between real and fake. To deal with these counterfeit bills, the Indian government has upgraded the entire money inspection system. Now, even a mobile phone can easily distinguish these counterfeit bills. In one night, they all turned into waste paper. After a large number of counterfeit money dealers were arrested, one by one, the counterfeit money cases were also gradually revealed. These cases all point to a man named Mansoor. Mansoor was having a headache because of this problem. If he couldn't solve it properly, their counterfeit money would sooner or later rot in the warehouse. At this time, his subordinate brought up a 500 rupee paper bill. Is this from our man in India? Is this fake money? Try it on the inspection machine. When Mansoor put the bill into the inspection machine, his face showed an expression of disbelief. This fake bill could easily pass the upgraded money inspection machine. When he asked his subordinate who made this bill, the subordinate didn't know the real name of the creator, only that this person called himself artist. Not long after, they found Sunny, and of course, Fenos was also dragged in. Mansoor took out a fake bill made by himself and asked Sunny to point out the flaws in this bill, but Sunny said bluntly, the ink is wrong, the anti-counterfeiting lines are also wrong. They overlap and the image quality is poor. This image doesn't need to be done with a computer, just a little art. They thought Mansoor would be angry, but unexpectedly, he liked Sunny very much and directly wanted to invite Sunny to join his team. Sunny would be in charge of designing the counterfeit money, and he would invest in printing and selling it. As long as Sunny agreed to cooperate, he could guarantee that no one would touch them. Maybe Sunny didn't understand his situation. He dared to refuse Mansoor's invitation. I'm not doing it anymore. Mansoor was not easy to deal with. He leaned to DOA. Sunny will destroy his whole family and his grandpa's newspaper office. To Mansoor, Sunny is a competitor. If he cannot win him over, he cannot let him go. Mansoor gave them 3 days to think and also ordered his subordinates to take them back. Fenos knew the danger of these people and suggested that they run away together for a few days, but Sandy knew that Mansoor would never spare them. Other than cooperating, there was no other choice. Moreover, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Before, they were like mice running around, living on a meager income to survive. They wanted to escape this slum. Sunny wanted to let the world know that he was the best artist. He wanted to live for himself just once. Not long after, they decided to go back to this road of no return, but this time, the counterfeit money was not simple. The new 2,000 rupee bill in India was much more complicated than the old one. It had more than 14 sizes with 17 different fonts. Counterfeiting was almost impossible. Mansoor's factory not only had paper that was similar to real money, but also the exact same anti-counterfeiting strip. Even the most modern embossing machine was available. After dozens of trials and improvements, they finally produced a fake bill that could pass the money inspection machine. Should we produce and put it into the market? Beside the sound of the machine running, each fake bill was produced. These fake bills, in a sense, were no longer fake money, but real money. The captain threw the cargo containers into the sea, followed by the second and third containers. When all the containers sank to the bottom of the sea, they even abandoned the cargo ship. The unmanned ship rushed towards the crowded beach. The people who didn't understand what was happening crazily recorded with their phones. Only when the ship approached the shore did it stop. This unusual event quickly attracted the attention of the police, but the police didn't find anything on the ship. Boss, I have contacted all the coastal patrol units. The port police all said they don't know. There's nothing suspicious on the ship. It's all trash, boss. While the police were confused, Sunny and his gang came back at night. It turned out that they had installed a tracker on the container before. When the cargo ship attracted the attention of the police, they dragged all the containers to the port and then transported them back to the warehouse in a truck. These containers contained fake money worth 120 billion rupees. These fake bills could easily pass all the money inspection machines in India. The only way to distinguish them is to burn them. If they turn red, they are fake money. The police called it super fake money. Before, the police had received reliable intelligence that a batch of fake money worth 120 billion rupees would be transported into India from abroad. If this fake money entered the market, it would cause panic among the people and could even cause the entire country's economy to collapse. But the police didn't know when, from where, or by what means the fake money would be transported in, so they had to strictly check all possible places. This method was indeed effective. During the surprise inspections, the police seized a large amount of fake money. The Kochi boss intercepted 20 million. Mumbai airport intercepted 40 million. The airport side intercepted 4 million. In the past 48 hours, a large amount of fake money has been seized, but compared to the 120 billion, it is just a drop in the ocean. The police chief felt that he had missed something. What on earth did I miss? At this time, Miga seemed to have discovered something. Boss, I think I know what's going on. She brought a money inspection machine and put a fake bill into it. The machine sounded an alarm, which meant that none of the seized fake money was super fake money, but just ordinary fake money produced by Mansoor. Mansoor just wanted to distract us before. We're chasing those useless things, and he's planning a bigger delivery. Damn it. This is a decoy. It turned out that all these things were just a smokescreen for Mansoor. Mansoor had long planted a person in the police. He transported the old stock through many routes to India. The purpose was to let the police intentionally discover them to cause confusion in their vision. Because all the transportation routes were monitored by the police, to successfully transport the fake money into India, they had to open a new route. There is another way, the Trojan horse. Sunny rented a cargo ship to go to India. They used 3 containers to hold all the fake money, but just as the ship was about to arrive in India, a call informed Sunny that he had to turn back immediately. Go anywhere, just don't go to Ulung. It turned out that the Indian police were conducting a surprise inspection of all ports. Going there now would be like walking into a trap. They had to cancel this trip and prepare to return, but at that time, the captain didn't agree because the fuel on the ship was not enough to go back, and they were in deep water and couldn't drop anchor to stop the ship, so they could only continue to move forward. While everyone was at a loss, the captain came up with a crazy idea. They decided to go to Mumbai because there was a shallow area where they could drop the containers to the bottom of the sea, and then they would come back at night to secretly retrieve the containers. In this way, they successfully transported the fake money worth 120 billion rupees into India. However, the 2 brothers absolutely did not expect that this money was about to become a hot potato. The man crawled into the back of the truck, pulled back the tarpaulin, revealing the 10 billion rupees underneath. He used a small knife to cut the leather bag and frantically threw the money out of the truck. The money flew out of the truck and scattered all over the road. The drivers going by all stopped. People started to frantically grab the money scattered on the road. As the number of people picking up money on the road increased, it led to a complete traffic jam, but it also successfully blocked the police who were chasing them from behind. But when Sunny was not paying attention, the small car was not able to avoid in time and suddenly flipped over. The remaining money in the car also fell everywhere. The police also arrived, but unexpectedly, the car was empty. No one was in it. It turned out that the 2 of them had already escaped from the car right under the nose of the police and successfully escaped. The money that fell on the ground caused everyone to rush over, but they didn't know that the money they were fighting for was all fake. If we tell them this is fake money, will they believe it? I think not. But this is not ordinary fake money. It cannot be distinguished with the naked eye. Even money inspection machines can be easily fooled. The only way to distinguish between real and fake is to burn it. Only the bills that burn with a red flame are fake money. And this fake money amounts to 120 billion rupees. Why is there still so much, uncle? Let me see the books. Is this all you guys can produce? Mansoor saw his money piled up like a mountain and was very angry, but another news made him even more furious. They found out that there was a police informant in their team. Mansoor didn't say a word and immediately dealt with this traitor. Sandy and Fenos were frightened by the scene. They didn't expect him to be so ruthless. A subordinate who had been with him for many years was directly sentenced to death without asking right or wrong. I can't stand animal suffering. We have to do it cleanly. Otherwise, it will suffer and scream forever. He has worked under me for a long time. He has worked for me his whole life, but rules are rules. Messing up is messing up. In short, this matter ends here. Now tell me, when can you deal with this batch of fake money? This batch of goods must be put into the market immediately. Do your job, but hurry up. Otherwise, the game will be over. Sunny knew that if he didn't do it well, his fate would not be better than that of the traitor. But the problem now was how to sell this huge amount of fake money to avoid the attention of the police. They had to divide it into small batches and put the fake money into the market many times. Even though they used all methods and channels compared to the 1.2 trillion rupees, it was still a drop in the ocean. At this moment, a phone call brought an opportunity for Sunny. An Indian member of parliament called and wanted to buy 10 billion rupees immediately. The only request was that Sunny had to meet him in person to trade. This was a big deal, but at this time the police were strictly chasing fake money. If they released the goods in large quantities, it was very likely to attract the attention of the police. One side was the threat from Mansoor, and the other side was the risk of being arrested. Sunny didn't hesitate and chose to take the risk. Sunny went to the meeting point to trade and found that it was all a trap by the police, but it was too late when he realized it. The entire parking lot had been surrounded by the police. Fortunately, Sunny calmly escaped from danger in time. However, no one had seen their faces. They used a truck they had prepared as a disguise, but when they drove out of the parking lot, they were stopped by the police. What are you doing here? Turn off the music. We are a cleaning company. Say it again. We have found the car, but it's empty inside. They must have changed cars. Although they escaped the siege, the police behind them were still chasing closely. Fortunately, the 2 of them were smart and scattered the fake money out of the car, creating a chaotic scene to escape. The sale of counterfeit money was a complete failure. On television, there were many news reports about fake money. The strange thing was that it didn't mention the 2 of them at all, but only focused on Mansoor. At this time, Mansoor was completely panicked when he saw the news. He suspected that Sunny had been caught and sold him out. How are you going to catch Mansoor? There is a way. Well, make him famous. It turned out that this was all a plan by the police. They knew that Mansoor was the one behind the fake money. The only way was to use the media to create pressure and force the man behind the scenes to show himself. The more famous he was, the harder it would be for him to hide. When he was famous, no country would dare to shelter him. Sunny naively thought that he was still valuable to Mansoor and that he would definitely help him get out of all the trouble, so he contacted Mansoor's men to meet. But Sunny didn't understand that Mansour had decided to kill the two of them since the news was broadcast, because Sunny knew too much, so they couldn't take the risk. Listen, you know everything about us, about our business, our distribution system, how we produce fake money, and where the fake money is kept. You know everything. One day the police might find out. This is a big risk, and we can't take that risk. When the henchmen were about to deal with the two brothers, a sound of an engine came from a distance. When they turned their heads, they saw a crowd of people on motorcycles rushing towards them. It turned out that Sunny had realized the danger when he got into the car, so he used his phone to inform his friends to come to the rescue. In this way, Sunny escaped from Mansour's hands. They knew that Mansour would not let them go easily, so they planned to leave and hide for a few days, but a phone call made them completely lose all hope. Last night, Sunny's grandpa's newspaper office caught fire.
It was only put out this morning.
Sunny's grandpa also unfortunately died in this fire. His grandpa was the only relative Sunny had in the world. Mansour always used his grandpa to threaten them because his grandpa was the weak point of the Sunny brothers, but now his grandpa has been harmed by someone. Sunny went into Mansour's printing factory. He easily took down Mansour's henchmen and quickly got into the money warehouse. Then he made a video call to Mansour. He scattered gasoline everywhere, from the printing machines to the barrels full of fake money. The fire started to burn, spreading quickly throughout the factory. The fake bills were burned in the fierce fire. The anger in Sunny's heart was burning fiercely. When the weak point is burned by this anger, it will become a bullet that pierces the darkness. Once someone touches his last line, Sunny will be like a mad dog, biting relentlessly. Even if he has to sink into the darkness, he will not hesitate to destroy the evil person. You're dead. You have no idea what you're doing, Sunny. Sunny, you're dead.
Do you hear me?
It'll come for you, you bastard. Enjoy it. When the money warehouse was completely burned down, Sunny left the scene, leaving behind everything he had been involved in.